Hey there again. Mm, mm. Good morning. Good to see you. Ah, something on my mind again. I'd like to share. Feeling super good too. Recently, it's just been coming through so nice. Oh, oh, this is sweet. Yeah, starting to see more clearly, right? What's going on, why it's going on, how we created this all for us and not against us. I mean, in the beginning, we were like nothing, complete emptiness, vastness, no motion, no movement at all. We were still, and we were there for, like, what seemed to be an eternity. Okay, barely a second's time to us now. And in that kind of a present awareness of everything and all that is, it's vast and amazing, infinite. It can last forever. Even right now, you could speed up so fast to where you experience thousands of lifetimes and nothing here moves while you do it. It's amazing, that kind of a speed. You're like, how could you be that fast and do that? Because the faster you go, the slower this goes. It's like when you're in emergency mode, they say your brain goes from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second, and other people will argue even more. It's just fine. But I'm just talking about what they've said, scientifically, or through this documentary I was watching one time about firemen in the forest and how they have more time to think, finally, all of a sudden, due to the emergency setting of a fire coming upon them. Which is really interesting thought and theory. So, just through me seeing faster, I now have more time to think and move somehow. Like when you're in a fight, have you ever noticed, I don't know if you've ever been in a fight. Maybe not something to be extremely proud of, but it seems from this motion to this motion, you have a crazy amount of time to think. All of a sudden, everything slows down between each movement or punch or however it is. You can really see everything at a really high rate of speed. You're like, oh, okay, here, 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 here. And you get to think the whole motion through. Last one I was in, I caught myself really amazingly. And then I had the ability to either lunge forward and hurt somebody, or to move to the side. And I moved to the side. It was nice. But they were really caught off guard. I was very fast. They're like, oh, shoot, this guy. They backed up real quick. They're like, oh, shoot, he's got the drop on me. I don't know how fast they were moving, how many frames per second they were seeing, but I was seeing it real quick. But that's just, in your mundane ways now. Imagine you move super duper fast. Now everything stops. Super stopped. You can experience thousands of lifetimes. But anyways, so, the beginning is emptiness, vast space. Nothing was there. Nothing. No forms. Nothing to see. All empty. I'm now imagining blackness. Who knows? I've seen gray matter like the fuzz on a TV screen. Now that static was more empty than what I imagined blackness to be. Actually, it was like devoid of something. It was like something supposed to be here, but it's not. I don't know if it'd be like that now. Maybe that came first. Who knows? Not the way I've experienced it recently, at least. But this thing, it wanted to move. It wanted to experience. Maybe it was lonely. Or just it wanted to experience. Maybe it doesn't have to be lonely to be agitated into emotion. It was just like, how did it move though? Well, it's really interesting being one thing and becoming many things, you know. Somewhere along the line, you kind of forget where you've been somewhere, eventually. It seems like this forgetfulness, this cup of forgetfulness that we all drink is somewhat important. This is more what I was aiming towards when I began this. I mean, when we learn and we grow so much, it's tough for us to learn and grow anymore. We become so strong in what we've learned. Imagine you make it to the end of your journey. Perfect, everything's great. But there's more. There's always more. More for you to learn. More ways for you to grow. More for you to understand. But you can no longer experience certain things because you're so well developed and so strong. It's like, oh, wow. How am I going to experience that part of reality now? Reality is different in this lifetime than it was in last lifetime. But I still remember all the secrets of last lifetime, so now this lifetime can't mess me up. It's impossible. We want to experience. Have to learn and grow and grow and grow and grow in each different lifetime. Forgetting who we are. Kind of adds to the show as well. Kind of brings it easier to the hero's journey. The original intention was to move for ourselves and not to move against ourselves. We hadn't split into everything yet. We hadn't moved to where there was a past and to where there was a future. And how these things would continue to occur, like tracers. You see tracers. The universe moved like this, like, tracing its path. Being once in that spot and now in this spot. Ourselves, we did this as one being. We became in a way that we could exist with ourselves, but not against ourselves. But we can't even touch ourselves. Pretty amazing. I once said to you that if we were to be able to touch ourselves, it would be like a hand could come through the sky, entering from one pseudo-space to the next, then crushing everything. It'd be awful and it'd be terrible. So we don't do that. Everything slides next to one another in a really perfect fashion. Moving with each other. Really amazingly perfect, not separate. Ugh. It's much harder when you just wake up. It's kind of just peaceful. It's nice to be peaceful. It's nice to be here now. Just be breathing. Starting off immediately with an intention to spread truth, to spread wisdom. Give the keys to the world. All mind. Creating everything through our mind. Our agreements, our beliefs, our attachments. We think that we are this way, and so that's the way that we are. And we believe that we are that way, and so that's the way that we are. If we could unlimit ourselves with our beliefs, and we stop believing so limitedly, we would become very limitless. Wow, I can do many things. I can learn and grow exponentially. I can achieve, I can realize, I can attain, I can be enlightenment. I am worthy. The point of the I am statements to bring us into a place of true heart resonance, true belief that yes, these things are true. I am love, I am light, I am life, I am worthy, I am, I am. Maybe you don't need to be a label at all. What do you think love is? You say that I am love. Well, what is love? If you exclude anything from that, maybe you don't know love. And that's okay. You don't need to judge. But maybe you could know love. Maybe you're going, what is this love I talk about? How do I know this? Unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception is the closest I can relate to love. The very center frequency. The thing that understands everything as itself and doesn't judge a piece of itself and loves all of itself and wishes for all of itself to be healed. For all of itself to have happiness and the causes of happiness. No matter what. It's like, oh, I just love myself so much. Oh, yes, that part of myself too. Oh, yes, that part of myself too. Every part of myself. Every one of myself. Equally, I love them all. Oh, like a mother, always loves her child. You're like, why does that mother still love her child? The child's an idiot. You're like, oh, well, it's a mother, a kid only a mother could love. Sweet, sweet mommy. Loving us all. So constantly, we've had to come into a lifetime and learn until we hit a point of rigidity, a point where we're like, ah, yes, we know this many things, and then we have to forget that we know these many things, start anew, and then we can learn again from another angle. We've already won that, we figured that out, now we're going to figure it out again in another way, and we're going to do it again in another way, and we're going to do it again in another way. Each time, forgetting the last way, so that we can learn again. I believe that if we die, the only reason for that is because we can no longer learn. If you can continue to learn, then you stay. If you can't, then you go. If you're a super learner, maybe you take the rainbow body, you gain enlightenment, you get risen up as Enoch did to the heavens and you don't die at all. Or you die like Jesus, you come back right immediately, or however it is. Or you leave just because, it's no longer relevant for you to be here anymore, and it's time for you to do your work elsewhere. Maybe still having to go through the cycles of learning again, which is really powerful to begin as somebody who does not know and become somebody who learns and grows and knows with the times and with the harmony of the motions of the oceans that are occurring here within the sea of samsara and nirvana. It's amazing. We should be really happy about this. We could be. Be amazing. So beautiful. I don't know what this was really that I'm trying to say. Forgetfulness. We just need to grow. If you're unable to grow, then you'll probably go somewhere you are able to grow. Because everything happens here for us and not against us. All of it is relevant. All of it is for a purpose. And we began with an intention that was for us and not against us. Amazing intention. Phenomenal place. Beginning the motion and ending it the first time. The moment it started, it was finished. We moved originally in faith. This is relaxing. Maybe I'll come back and give it a more refined tune. I'm glad that I came on here and hung out with myself today. Not a lot to say, really. I'm just like looking. Nice to be present, you know. Nice to not have really any thoughts going on. Just yeah, it's kind of tough maybe because I'm laying down. Maybe it's more difficult. Maybe if I were to stand up, like, oh, I'm tired. It's early. I like the recent videos. They're super nice. I want to bring you videos of such high potency. That's the big deal. I'm like, okay, what do I do to bring these there? Maybe I've gained a preference, you know, so it's like, okay, this one's okay too then. We can do this one. We can do any one. No problem. Anything that wants to come through is perfect, no matter what. If I want to feel that way, if I want to feel this way, however way I'm feeling is exactly the way to be feeling. Whatever is happening is exactly the way to be happening. No need to breed doubt or worry or fear. You know, who knows? This is, to me, it's like I could be judging this size video and be like, no, no, this video is not as good as this other video, and so now I don't like this video. I don't want to put this video out there. It's not good for this. And it's like, well, you could do that with any one of your actions in life, to where you're like, it must be this way. This is my preferred way now. I have a favorite way. And it's like, no, I could only be this way, and then that's attaching to an ego identity. Is that? So it's like, ah. Or I want to be like this way, you know. It's like, okay, well, that is also an ego identity. It's also that. So you have to see that as well. You know. What are we meant to be? What do we do? Well, every moment is different than the next moment. So you may be this way that moment, you may be that way that moment. And all the moments are exactly the way you need to be, no matter which way it's being. So that's why I like to make these things, because it's like, oh, they're so versatile. It's like, a lot of people are well rehearsed, maybe they have a plan before they come on, they're always like very pointed, it's this. I'm like, oh man, I feel like I'm an unintelligent person. Maybe I could refine this more. What do I do? I don't know. You don't choose, that's what you do. And then you teach not choosing. They're showing not choosing. I mean, what else do you do? I mean, you even explain it while you're going, you know. It's like, okay, how do we do? Do you like to choose? You just be real relaxed. But no need to choose. It's okay. Let it come through any way you wish. Do you understand these teachings? I don't. I get them while I'm watching them. It takes me a while. I'm like, what is this going on? I'm watching too, you know. I don't know either. Just seeing or watching. What's about to be said? Is this of value? Is this going to take up people's time for no reason? They got 30 minutes time to just sit here and roll around on the bed with me? Maybe not. I don't know. I got nothing but time. I might as well do it. I mean, barely anybody watches these things anyway, so I don't know. Thank you to my loyal viewers. uh, I could talk forever, you know. I don't grow tired of it. Be difficult. Be difficult, you know. You learn so much and then go around.
You listen to many people. They all like you to listen to them, but no, they don't want to listen to you. Well, they like to listen to certain things, like fun, light things. But when it comes to reality and getting serious about growing, not that. They're going to do that on their own in their own time. You know how long it will take them to do it on their own time too? They're like, I'm looking to do it 10 lifetimes from now. I'm like, oh, dear God. Do I really want to be your friend for 10 more lifetimes and sit here and listen to you and not know what's going on and not even care about what's going on until, what, your 10th lifetime, and then finally you'd be like, okay, I'm ready. Never mind, 10 more lifetimes. Okay, it's like, goodness, this repeating cycle's killing me. I gotta be here with you this whole time, existing in this, like, suffering of listening to you forever. Like, oh, let me hold more space. Let me hold more space. Oh, yes, this mundane stuff you're talking about. Okay, this is nice. Meanwhile, I think what I'm going to go do is actually realize myself more further. You have fun with what you're doing. I understand that you're very comfortable in this. I'm just gonna go and do my thing. Thank you. Appreciate you. Do you want to learn and grow? No? Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna go this way then. You stay here and do what you're doing. What is it that you're doing? I don't know. Not understanding something about something, I guess. Or I could do another way I've been trying. Let's see what we can do to weave consciousness into this mountain. And then they're like, oh, dude, that was kind of disturbing. That was agitating. And it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of how it feels when you're a certain type of frequency, and you get this like beam of light just coming to you. You're like, oh, I'm trying to hold on to this position I'm on, but you're shaking me up with all your light. I don't know what to do here. I've been shaking up all of consciousness with like this whole journey, actually. Many people are. We've been doing it. You can see the collective and how they're responding. It's kind of like you're responding right now in this moment. You're all like, "Whoa, this is tough. I'm trying to stay where I was, but I can't stay there anymore. This is difficult. Please stop this." Except for the people in the world, they have to get angry at world events. They can't get angry at me. It must be Ryan doing this. Let me go get him. Where's the other light workers that are causing this as well? Let me go get them. Like, no, you can't do that. It'd be crazy to you. You can't perceive things on that level yet. So you're not gonna be able to be mean to us. Like, oh shoot, it really is these guys over here. I can't believe it. Let's get them. They're making us see our egos and transcend them. Egos unite. Form of hate against the enlightened ones. No, just kidding. It's fun. Uh, so it could be tough. It could be interesting. But I can see these in microcosmic ways, and I can see how this relates to the macrocosm as well. I can see how many things are coming in. Recently, I noticed how just amazing things were occurring to where it's like, oh my goodness, um, these ceremonies I've been having relate to actual life. I was getting taught by these DMT ceremonies how life can respond to the opening of the channels and the closing of channels, and see how this happens to me with the channel coming through myself. And that's amazing because that's what they were doing. They were opening me up to see the channels that were pouring through me always, constantly, without any effort of my own. And see what happened when I jump into the world and I just honor these channels and I scrunch these channels and I break the flow. And like the tiniest thing can dishonor this channel and break it and just scrunch the energy. So the energy is wanting to come through in this beautiful band, and then I scrunch it by leaving its attention or whatever I do. I put a hard focus in some way, and then it scrunches the energy. Now the whole band after that is pinched. It's all condensed in a way, and so every bit of that energy is like, oh. Now there's a very big way to where you can come deep into that present awareness of it, and you could see it, and you could re-honor it, and then it could come back into its straightness. And this is a very difficult thing, especially if you're trying to, or if you're worried, if you're afraid. Eventually you may just give up because you're like, oh goodness, this is very hard. This is very difficult. Oh my goodness. But after seeing this in such a really profound way, in a very huge way, it was like, goodness gracious, very difficult way, very difficult way. I could now, eventually, in this reality that we're in now, see how this is happening in many conversations, in many different ways, through many different people. And a lot of it has to do with people unwilling to listen to one another and people's points of view because they hold very rigidly to their point of view in a way that it's disturbing to hear any other information. People are scared of information. They're like, no, 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 if I even listen to your information, it's going to affect my information. Like, we're very weak and flimsy in that way. We're like, oh no, they're going to make me think something, they're going to brainwash me or something, they're going to give me information, it's going to implant a virus within inside of me, and now I can no longer think anything. I'm like, oh no, you have destroyed me. You have destroyed me, you have told me something. I have listened to it, I believed it, I am so screwed now. It's like, well, I mean, that's kind of a weak response system. You know, there's times in life that people are this way. They get ultra super sensitive in their spiritual career, and they even say it. It's like, I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive. I have a lot of empathy, and so I can be affected very easily by the emotions of the ocean around me. It's like, really? I mean, you do not hold on to your toughness. Like, where was your toughness? When you were growing up before, did you have that before, or were you always a spiritual person? See, I came from a place where you'd be very hard and harsh with one another, and you're like, ah. But, you know, you couldn't be just, you know, bent over by all these things. Somebody called you a bitch, or somebody called you any kind of a name. You weren't just going home and being like, that's what I am. I can't believe this. Crying, you know. It was more just like, now screw you. Oh, screw me. No, no, no. Screw you, buddy. Now, whatever. That guy over there, that jerk, that jackass, who is he? How dare he say that stuff to me? Anyways, we'll move on. Get out of here. He's just a jerk. You know, you didn't even think about it. You know, you're just able to be like, whatever. Get out of here. Who needs you? You know, whatever about it. uh, but now it's like, man, you hear just a tiniest bit of consciousness and you're like, hmm, that ruined my life somehow. It's like, whoa, jeez. You know, but I mean, people do say things in a strong way. I definitely say things in a strong way. I know things. You know, I've experienced knowing. I've experienced truth. And so I like to give those things. People have other things that they believe, and they're very big on attaching to these things. Which, okay, but these things typically limiting mindsets and senses. It's like, okay, well, I can see right here where you're stumbling. Let me help you. No, you don't like that? Oh, okay, never mind. It's interesting, you know, what we see and what we don't see. And what's going on with me and what's not going on with me. I notice, like, the difference in patterns. I'm like, well, this guy, you know, people listen to that guy. That guy over there, they listen to that guy. They don't listen to me, though. I've got Reese's Pieces in here or something. No, it's like Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. They came from a homeless giveaway because I didn't have any money and I had to go and get free food. It was nice. And that was one of the things they got. Not my favorite candies, actually. But doesn't make my stomach feel very good, actually. I used to be my favorite. I live in this van. You know, they're like, this guy lives in a van. I don't know about him. You know, what's up with this guy? He doesn't have a very glamorous or beautiful life. Who wants to listen to him? I don't know. Tell you though, I am extremely dedicated to consciousness and to expansion of its growth. Extremely dedicated. I'm doing things and sharing things that nobody is sharing, you know. In ways that nobody will share, you know. They're very precise, doing their thing however they're doing it, you know. Yeah. Yeah. We're channeling it through, you know. And the things they can do are, whew, if you just had one experience with me, you'd be like, okay, I can see why you do what you do. It can be tough though. Be tough to see what's happening. Oh man, the thing flipped over. I didn't even notice. Well, that's all right. Maybe it'll be okay. Well, this was a beautiful good morning. uh, oh yes, but the pinching of reality. Maybe we did it right now. And one of the things that I think is interesting is that I talk in a way that is so arrogant seeming or whatever it is sometimes that it's very disturbing for people to even listen to. And I'm like, oh wow, this is great. Because it's like, can you listen to everything? What if wisdom came to you in the way that you don't want to accept wisdom? Could you hear it? Or you'd be like, nope, not going to take this key now. People have a big trouble listening. They want to suppress everything around them. They want to run away from it. They want to do all kinds of things. Man, I stay with wisdom all the time. But you gotta follow your feeling. Maybe sometimes it's not good for you to stay. You just go. Not a problem. Man, people try to suppress me a lot. I'm like, well, I gotta move this thing through. And the moment that something dishonors my frequency, well, it's falling through a channel, it scrunches the frequency. And now it becomes this irritated mess. It's like, whoa, what's going on? Because it can't be heard anymore. But it's still coming. It's like, oh, jeez. So now it has to be said in this other way so that it would at least be heard. And however it's heard, they may miss the whole download, kind of like I missed the bandwidth of the DMT ceremony. But they'll still have that energy, and that energy will somehow be like scrunchy on it. They'll be like, it's not going to feel comfortable for the channel coming through, myself or whoever else it's maybe happening with. But this is a way that we can see what's occurring in another manner. And I'll probably bring this teaching to you in another video. Who knows? So it's more at the beginning. This is a long time to watch to bring this funny little information through. But at least we can see the whole process of this and what happens when you do this, what happens when you do that. And I like that I make all these different videos because it's just like, wow, look, he was there, and now he's there, and now he's there, and now he's there, now he's there. But he's still, throwing all of it out there because, why not? We're able to be any way that we wish to be. Maybe that's a big deal, is just like being effortlessly, not choosing. And just showing how you can be like just trusting. It's like, okay, I just trust this for some reason. This comes through and it's perfection. This is what I needed to do somehow. And it's beautiful. I love it. I love you. I love me. I love all of myself. And this is a big deal. Thank you for everything. Aloha. Hope you have a beautiful day.